First of all, before we go, can you tell me about yourself? You know, who is Patricia Chimangeni?
Patricia Chimangeni is a girl who was born in Malawi. Currently lives in the UK. Yeah, I've done my education from primary, secondary till uni. Yeah, so now I'm working full-time work. So I don't know. That's my small profile.
Okay, all right. So one thing which I didn't even explain to the people who will be watching this, you're also part of the Malawi Heritage Foundation.
That's
right.
We're
going to talk about that as we go on.
Yeah.
But now, you know, tell me about how was it like for you growing up in Malawi and for you finding yourself in the UK. Tell us about the journey. How was the journey like?
The journey was mixed. So to say, I was fortunate to be born in a family. My father worked as a policeman, so we lived in town. So we had the best of what he could give us. Yeah. But then as well, it's different because we also had to go home to the village, and we had to do a bit of farming. And there, you can see the difference between the village and the town. And then coming here was even more different. So I've kind of lived 3 lives as such. It's good to experience those lives because they give you a balance of how you live your life with people, with the community. Okay.
So what is it that drove you to find yourself in the UK? Well,
it was just to expand my academic prowess, my skills.
Right.
Then I decided to stay and work here.
Okay, that's good. And then, you know, the funny thing is most of us, what I've noticed is most of the Malawians who are here in the UK or some other parts of the diaspora, you know, they have similar story, because most of them, they have come here to study, and then they've kind of, you know, find themselves, you know, staying in this country and doing some other things. But what I want to talk about now is your charity work and some of the things that have kind of drove you to come up with the book. So what kind of experience have you had
in the UK when you're here? I know we've got different objectives when we come here, but the thing that stuck with me is home. I always remember home. I always remember the times we had with relatives and friends playing outside, but I also remember the hardship that people are facing at home. So that's where my charity, my interest in charity work comes from. I've got relatives who are struggling now, and as you can see on the news, Malawi's situation is not as good. So you do what you can to help out. So that's where I decided to attach myself to an organization that is interested in helping our brothers and sisters in Malawi.
That's good. Now let's go to the book. Can you tell me more about the book?
The book as well, like I say, my interest is home. So when you're far away from home, you remember home a lot more. You get homesick. So the book talks about home. It's based in a place in Malawi. And as I was growing up as well, regardless of us being modernized or being Christians, I still remember we've still got that element where we have cultures and traditions at home that makes us as Malawians, or me, Patricia. So when I was writing this book, I remembered all the stories that my aunties would tell me when I was young, or my cousins. So all my friends, because I was at a boarding school and we had so many stories.
Mm.
So this is like a collection of all the stories.
Okay.
Yeah, if you look
Wow.
at my first pages,
Yeah.
I've actually acknowledged that these stories are just memories that I got from people, the
Okay.
stories that they told me.
Okay. All right.
But I've kind of concentrated on the traditional aspects
Mhm.
of home. We Malawians are superstitious. We've got taboos, we've got traditions we follow.
Mm.
So I've also put all those in the book just to showcase what Malawi is like from
Okay.
someone who doesn't know the intricacies of Malawi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So the title itself is, is catching, the Whirlwinds of Ndonda. So
Yeah.
what made you come up with that kind of title for the book?
Life is a whirlwind.
Okay.
It goes up, it goes down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the Whirlwinds of Ndonda is
Mm.
the happenings of a place called Ndonda.
Mm-hmm.
Some are good happenings, some are not so good.
Mm.
So it's just saying life is a whirlwind, and
Mm.
these whirlwinds happened in a place called Ndonda.
So the Ndonda, does it exist? Ndonda, or is it just a fictional name that you've come up with?
Ndonda does exist.
Okay, all right. Tell us
That's
more about
exactly
that.
where I come from.
Okay, so you come from Ndonda.
Ndonda is actually a ward,
Okay.
but in this book, Ndonda is a village.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
So I've just like compressed the ward into a village,
Mm.
and the setting of the book is in Ndonda.
Mm.
Yeah. There were a few stories in the book that have settings outside Ndonda,
Mm.
but they are linked to Ndonda as such.
Okay.
In a way, it's like Malawi.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, we go abroad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we still go to Malawi.
Yeah.
We still stick to our place called Malawi. So I've compressed it to call it Ndonda.
Okay. So you mentioned earlier on when I was asking, you say that the book is you have compiled stories, way back from the time that you were growing up in Malawi.
Yeah.
So have you also included some of the things that you have encountered as you have grown up here in the been outside Malawi, or is it just compilation of Malawi?
It's compilation of Malawi.
All right,
Yeah.
okay. So are we expecting another book soon?
Probably. Let me rest first, see
Okay.
how this goes, and then I can move ahead.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to do now is, because I've been inspired as well writing this book, so I'm thinking I had the opportunity to have people who help me in editing, in proofreading, and exposing my book out there. So I know that people back home as well, or elsewhere, they struggle to find that inspiration, to find that help. So what I want to do now is maybe come up with a blog, invite people who are interested in writing or exploring African identities. It doesn't have to be Malawi as such. It can be anywhere in Africa. But if they have a story to tell, let them come forward and we can work in that blog.
Okay, all right. Now, there are a lot of people, a lot of young people who are thinking, can I write a book? What can you say to those people?
Yes, you can write a book. I started it as a joke, writing short stories, poetry. Some of it can be good, some of it maybe not so good. But what you have to do is be determined, be focused, and get that first book out, or that first page out, and then move forward. And like I say, I kind of struggle to find people to help me, but here I am now. You can send me a script to say, help me, let's help each other, write this, and then the journey begins.
That's good.
And it's a learning process as well, because you have to learn to write, and then there's the editing, which is also quite tough. Yeah, you have to go through something you've written over and over again and proofread it as well. And then format the book and then find a publisher or do self-publishing. So it's a commitment.
So just listening to what you're saying, somebody will say, wow, this, the process is just... So is this something that can be achievable?
It's achievable. Yeah, editing, I did not do it myself. I have a friend called Charles Simango, who, those of you who were there around 1992, he was the founder of a newspaper called The Democrat.
Okay.
Yeah, so he helped to edit my book. He also helped to proofread. So I should acknowledge his efforts on that.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
So, like I say, sometimes you need help, and there are pointers of where you can go to get that help.
So now, moving on to you yourself as Miss Patricia Chimangeni Kulipa. Yeah. What is it that you can tell us that maybe we don't know about yourself that might inspire somebody out there?
Well, I can say I'm just a local girl, like everyone else, growing up in the streets. But as I was growing up, I remember my father saying, work hard. And that's important, because these days when people say work hard, they think it's a joke. But it's true that you have to work hard. Yeah, but I didn't understand it until I was maybe in high school, where it was like a competition now, where you have to work hard. I had good teachers who told me to work hard. So I worked hard, went to uni, and that's where the competition is. So I can say that, yeah, I'm a local girl, but I had this work hard thing going through my mind, and don't tire.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. Life is not always rosy. Yeah, so that's why I've worked up to this point. I would like to be more than this as well, so I keep looking at people as well, use people as inspirations.
That's good.
Yeah. For the writing itself, I can say I had good teachers. We had people like Professor Chimombo, Dr. Mazombe. Yeah. They would write. We actually saw them writing. So those inspires. That inspired me to go the writing way. So you also have to look at role models in whatever you have. Yeah. So there's nothing special about me.
Okay.
Just a local
It is. No, you are special. You are special because coming up with a book like that, it's a special thing, and it's a special gift. And having the ability to write and to tell a story, it's not easy. So that's a special thing that you have, and you should be proud of that. So you spoke about Professor Chimombo and some other big good writers that we've seen in Malawi. But were there other people that you kind of looked up when you were growing up, just as role models? The lectures in college, those days, they had this aura with them, and you just had to say, okay, I'll work hard. I will write. We also had a writer's workshop, and among our students, I remember we had people like Smith Likongwe, who's now teaching at Chancellor College. He's a lecturer there. We had people like Sundu Magdise. He used to do a lot of acting. Okay. I think he's a lawyer now. Yeah, so you had people around you who were just doing their things, and you were like, wow. Wow, yeah. Yeah, let me work hard as well. Wow, that's beautiful.
And there are also other role models outside. I think there are so many, I can't think of one or two in my life. But as you go along in life, you see people. I mean, people like Mandela, the achievements he's done in South Africa. Yeah, you read about these people, icons. They icons of Africa. They help you. They help build up your character because you say, if this son of Africa has done, has achieved this much, maybe I can continue.
Yeah, and most of them, if you look at their background, even I was reading about people like Dr. Banda.
Yeah.
You know, look at how, you know, there was nobody from Malawi who had to walk to South Africa in pursuit of you know, something, a career or something that you can have this future that can help him to become somebody.
Yeah.
So if those people had to go all that way, you know, that length to go to achieve what they wanted, you know, most of us, you know, we are better off.
We've had it. This book is currently on Amazon.
Okay.
If you type in Amazon.com and type my name in, the title is long, so just get my name, just put Patricia Chimangeni,
and then it will
come up.
Okay.
It's £9.99 hardcover.
Yeah.
But there's also a Kindle version.
Okay.
Which is £2.50. £2.50.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So you can get it both ways.
Yeah. So what I would say, if you are watching out there, please let's go and support this book. Patricia is one of our own Malawian writer, and she's doing amazing things. You know, writing a book like this is not easy. So let's go and on Amazon and support her and buy this book, $9.99 on Amazon, and also you can get it on Kindle.
Yeah, Amazon Kindle.
Yeah.
It's £2.50.
Yeah.
And please leave a feedback after reading because it's a learning process. So I would love to get your views from you.
All right. So Patricia, it was a pleasure to have you and to discuss about this book, and I'm sure that we're gonna have another talk.
Yes.
You know, there are a lot of projects that we will be doing, and you know, as Malawi Heritage as well, we know that you'll be able to coach some of the young people who want to write, or some young people who want to do some other things like what you have done. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of things that we'll talk about.
Yeah, and